I'm here because I am a roaring lion crying out righteousness. There's a lot going on, but there's a question I've not heard anybody raise, not even given any intimation of the possibility that Trump has a trump card. And Trump's trump card is that he took all those secrets. And one of the ones that we know the most about is the military's plan of a counterattack or an attack upon Iran in the event that America had some reason to want to attack Iran, either with nuclear forces or with general military structure. And nobody, I've listened to everybody. I've listened to Fox News, I've listened to ABC News, I've listened to CBS, I've listened to MSNBC, CNN, and there's not been even the hint at the possibility that Trump has a trump card. With all of the indictments that have been leveled against him, he's been charged with 92 criminal indictments. 91 criminal charges. And no one has suggested that perhaps Trump has a trump card of an alliance or secret information, or that he can dispense to Russia or to China or to North Korea that can completely destroy America. And I'm not saying I'm suggesting because I'm wiser or smarter than they. Perhaps they are wiser and perhaps they know, but do not want to fan the fumes or flames, and by suggesting it and causing Trump to release a thunderous power against America because he carried all of America's secrets down to Mar-A-lago. And all those top secrets, super secrets, and classified information that is now he has cooperated with Xi Jinping or with Vladimir Putin or with Kim Jong-un or with whoever. And it would seem to me that it's impossible that Trump has not done that, mainly because he's a very cunning individual. You have to understand that probably there are very few people who could have done what he has done in terms of turning America into the turmoil it's in, and in terms of heaven's view of Trump, that the trigger of the tribulation, which is something humanity doesn't want, but Trump has the power to do it. But let's go back to the theme. Has 91 criminal charges against him. People around him are falling, like Giuliani, I remember Giuliani's being mayor here in the city of New York. I remember 9/11. And I remember when he was the lead attorney in the Southern District. It is almost impossible to think that he has fallen so far. But that's because of his association with Trump is kryptonite. And Michael Cohen tried to tell everybody. And so what Fani Willis has done, and with the indictments of Trump plus the 18, they're in Georgia, is a very powerful move by a Hamite woman. And as Sabbath said the other day, I don't support any of her policies or Democratic liberal policies, but I do have to say this: the woman's got a heart to be able to bring those. Most people would be afraid to do what she's done. And the fear that most people would have, first of all, what if it falls apart? If I bring these charges and it falls apart, and not because what she's bringing is not valid. Everything she said is valid, it is true, and as pure as anything true and pure can be. However, the court system, the political systems of Georgia, the political system of the Republican Party, that can destroy even the truth. And that whole case that she brought can fall apart, and she could be made to look a laughing stock. That's how I look at Fani Willis. And I look at her as someone who knows what's true. And not that I'm supporting her, mind you, and I'm not supporting Trump either, by the way. But there's many a slip between the cup and the lip. And Trump does have the power to dethrone her. The other thing is that, listen, and please understand this in the right, I'm just using historical facts and using analogies and parables and examples to make a point. But you know, they shot President John F. Kennedy in the back of the head. Bullet ripped off his skull. And even with all that Secret Service protection, they shot Ronald Reagan. They sure did. For Fani Willis to bring these charges as she has brought them against the most powerful man in the world right now. I know Biden's president, but he ain't the most powerful man. Right now it's Trump. Her life, to assassinate her, the scheme to do it, I mean, it is, every day she takes a breath is a breath that, because her life is on the line. So she brought the charges with that aspect as well. Knowing that bringing these charges, even though everything she said is true, pure, and accurate, politics can throw it into the garbage bin, and all those cases will be dismissed. I'm telling you. And her life, unless she comes and talks to me, will be pretty much over with. But not just that. She could be assassinated, or a loved one of hers could be assassinated. So when I see what Fani Willis has done against the most powerful man that's walking on planet Earth right now, that's Donald John Trump, I have to take my hat off to Fani Willis and understand. So now, having said that, does Trump have a trump card in Georgia? Does Trump have a trump card in Georgia? Because it ain't over with yet. Does Trump have a trump card with Jack Smith and the January 6th indictments and the 4 charges that Jack Smith is bringing? Does Trump have a trump card? I mean, does Trump have secret information from classified documents, from secret documents, that he can now wheel and deal any way which does he have documents? Does Trump have a trump card that can get him out of the Jack Smith indictments? Does Trump have a trump card? Does Trump have information that, for instance, we have heard a lot touted and talked about, and I'm repeating myself now, about the fact that a secret classified document about, I think, the military's plan for attack upon Iran was discussed at a meeting with Trump and a couple of photographers and some bio person. But does I haven't heard anybody say it. Maybe he doesn't. I can't imagine Trump being Trump and not covering his rump. Now, I don't mean to be funny here. I can't imagine. Why would he take those documents there in the first place? Why would he take those documents down to Mar-A-lago or to Bedminster? Why would he take those documents if it was not for the purpose of making sure I got an ace in the hole? Y'all can bring all these indictments and whatever you want, but you're not going to put me in jail, and you're not going to stop me from becoming president again. And you're not going to stop me from what Pastor Manning has said about the prophecy that I'm the servant of Satan and that I'm the trigger of the tribulation. You're not going to stop it. And so we're looking at these. Alvin Bragg has indicted him here. I think Alvin Bragg's indictment was really a stupid. Well, stupid is probably not the right word, but was a publicity-seeking indictment. Alvin Bragg's indictment against Trump was simply publicity. That was all it was about. And now you got Letitia James. I think Letitia James probably has a more solid case on Trump having inflated his net worth more than $2.2 billion of what he is actually worth, if he's worth anything. Might be a solid case in terms of white-collar crime. But he ain't going to go to jail for that. They just probably going to try to jack him for some property and taxes. And that'll go all the way to the Supreme Court, and Trump and everybody else around him will be in a wheelchair someplace in a nursing home before any sentences is ever handed down, or any, if you will, repercussions are ever handed down. So my question here is, does Trump have a Trump plan? And I think America ought to want to know. Are we now, does Kim Jong-un have nuclear secrets? Does Iran have nuclear secrets? And what did Jared Kushner give to those Muslim boys over there in Saudi Arabia that made them turn loose $2 billion to that boy? What did he give them? What access did he have? Now, you know, Hunter Biden just sit on the board of Burisma, a energy plant over there in the Ukraine. They was paying him what, $50,000, $500,000 a month? He's received over $20 million in kickbacks. Here's a man who's a crackhead. I mean, a stone cold crackhead, Hunter Biden. And yet he was able to get over $20 million. That's what we know about. There may be a whole lot more. And his father, Joe Biden, don't have enough sense to diss him. Still hanging on, he's my son and I love him. And I lost Bo Biden to cancer, and I lost my wife and my children. So he's my last son. I'm gonna hold on. Okay, all right. All right, go ahead. I mean, you do what you want to do. But what did Jared Kushner give to them boys over there in Saudi Arabia to get $2 billion? And does Trump have a Trump card? I think we need to be looking at it. I want to learn how to protect myself. I want to learn how to protect the members of the ATLAH World Missionary Church. I want to learn how to protect you. And I'm going beyond talking about whether Trump will go to jail or whether be indicted or whether or not he'll be able to make all the campaign speeches. Forget about that. That ain't nothing to talk about. I want to know whether or not there is a global, if you will, conspiracy that Trump has laid out through those documents he had that has put all of our lives in jeopardy, because I have a stake in this. I have the stake in ATLAH. ATLAH is a nation. Now, you may not want to recognize, but go on about your business. But ATLAH is a nation, ought to belong to the United Nations. And I have a stake in protecting it. I'm the head of ATLAH. And so I think the rest of y'all ought to be asking these questions as well. I will say this, that at some point, Trump is going to dump the MAGA people. At some point, he's going to dump them. And let me tell you why. I put this in your cap and put it in your pipe and smoke it. Let me tell you why. The MAGA people, the people that follow Trump, there's nothing about their culture and their personhood and their heritage that Trump is enamored by or attracted to. What Trump really wants is he wants to be invited to England to the marriage of Prince Charles or the coronation of Prince Charles. He wants to be in that crowd. He don't want to run with the Nashville crowd, and he won't even pretend that he does. At some point, when he gets the right kind of power, he's going to dump the MAGA crowd, the people that's fighting for him. Enrique Torres is getting ready to go to jail. By the way, I understand Joe Biggs got a 17-year sentence just handed down. They were trying to give him 33 years, but the judge cut it in half. Gave him 17 years. And Stuart Rhodes got 18 years. All them people going to spend their lives in prison. Trump don't care nothing about them. And I'm not, he can't. Trump wants to be with Prince Charles. Trump wants to be with the Wall Street, with the New York Times people. Trump wants to be friends with people like Jay-Z. That's what Trump don't want to be hanging out with y'all. He's going to dump you. I'm telling you, you're going to be for the rude awakening of your life. But the question is, does Trump have a Trump card that we all ought to be concerned about? Well, I'm concerned because I have the responsibility of maintaining ATLAH. And if this world is going to be turned topsy-turvy over the next 7 to 9 months of things that we never dreamed of, if our energy sources are going to be staved in the middle of winter, or whether or not some great disease or plague will come upon us that will make COVID-19 look like a sneeze by one person, of the kind of drugs and the kind of diseases that can be cooked up, whether in China or whether here in America. I need to know. And I think you ought to be asking the question. I think you ought to be smart enough to run ahead of what they're reporting on Fox. Let me tell you something about Fox, and then I'm going to let y'all go. I figure y'all got something else to do. The only reason why Fox News is still supporting Trump is because the moment they stop, you think Kevin McCarthy is a sucker, but I don't like using that term very much, for Trump, and will not speak a word against Trump. Went down there to Mar-A-lago after January 6th and kissed Trump's ring. And that all these politicians will not speak out against Trump, because if they speak out against Trump, they're going to lose the MAGA crowd, and they're going to lose Trump's audience, and they will be ousted, they'll be campaigned against, and they'll be out of political life if they speak out against Trump. So even though they hate his living guts, they ain't going to say nothing about him bad. But same thing about Fox News. If Fox News started reporting partially the truth about what's going on in America, Newsmax, which is an up-and-coming television broadcast news organization, would get all of the MAGA, and Fox would have fewer people listen to them than I do. I'd have a bigger audience than Fox, just like that. And it'll happen overnight. And Rupert Murdoch know it. Overnight, he'll lose the route to Newsmax or America One News. So Fox is, Sean Hannity, I was looking at Sean Hannity the other day, and I think to myself, this man should have got out of this business years ago. He's got enough money. I don't know why he keeps, I guess it's the power that you have, because broad journalists have power. I was looking at Sean Hannity the other night, and he is now stuck. He's got to kiss Trump's butt. He got to do it, because if you don't do it, Fox News will have, in less than a night, Fox News will have less people listen to it than listen to me. So now he is serving the devil. I looked at Sean Hannity, I thought was my friend at one time. Sean Hannity is now serving the devil. This got to be the most humiliating thing that he could ever encounter. Laura Ingraham too. Humiliating. You got to kiss this man's butt, knowing how awful he is. But if you don't kiss it, somebody gonna kick yours. If Sean Hannity don't kiss Trump's butt, Newsmax is gonna kick his butt. So I think these are the questions that inquiring minds ought to want to know. And I want to give you a warning here. We're not headed for better times. America's not headed for a better solution. We need to look very carefully that I can't see that Trump doesn't have a Trump card. I can't see Trump having all that power, having all those secret classified documents, and then gonna let himself go sit in a jail cell. I don't see it. What I do see is trouble like we ain't never seen before. At any rate, everybody, I'm James David Manning. I'm the Lord's servant.